Okay, so let's talk about water. Behind me you see the house up there on the hill, and I am headed down to show you some of the various streams that we actually have here on the Finca. All right, this is the way down, and here you can see two of the waterways that actually cross the Finca down there. You can see right there in that area in about the center of the screen are the banana plants. The banana plants grow right along the creek, and then over here you see a couple of those palm trees. Those are actually coconuts, and then back in the background there's actually five different mandarins, or excuse me, not mandarins, those are mangoes down there. Okay, so the water that we get here, you can see it down in this waterway. Right now it's the dry season, so we don't have a whole lot, which means we do have to work to conserve it, but you can see down there is a little bit of water. It runs down that stream. Now normally in the wet season, this actually runs a lot. I want you to notice that there's a water line. You see that white water line stretched across there right in front of that banana tree. That's actually the water to the house. So if you look up here, I'll show you that there, you see all the way on the top of that hill is the house. You can see the wind generator and everything up there. That's it. So that's actually where our water comes from across the property, and here's the stream. So this all is the waterway, and of course there you see one bridge sitting right there, and then the second bridge, which is a smaller one, comes here. So in the dry season, this particular creek right here that you're looking at, that this bridge crosses over, it slows down to a trickle, and we don't get a lot of water, but you can see it right here. Right there's a coffee plant, and there's the water, okay, coming out of the stream. All right, and it's over here. Same thing. You can see the banana plants growing right there by it as it comes actually out of the forest, the bosque, or the jungla in Spanish, the jungle or the forest. Comes down through here, goes under this water, and that's the first waterway. This is the second waterway. You can see sitting here, I have a piece of metal there because occasionally the water comes out so fast of this in the rainy season, it hits down there and that stops it from eroding. So this is the second stream. You can see it goes down there to where we were at before. I was standing right over there, and there's the hill, and it goes this way. So looking this way, you will see there's the bridge, and it goes up into the bosque again there. That's waterway number 2. All right, here we're going to head into the forest. I'm going to show you something here. This is the way to where our water comes from. But first of all, I want you to listen for the sound. See if you hear this. Right there. All right, that is a chocolate-billed toucan. We have a lot of toucans this time of the year. So we're going to go up here into the forest, and I will show you where our water comes from. So why don't you travel with me here a little bit, and we'll see what we can find. Here is the trailhead up into the bosque. Right on the trail in the bosque, I can hear the chocolate-billed toucan better here. If you listen, you'll see it. I'll see if maybe we can see it up there in the trees. All right, after that hike, here we are, standing in the jungle. You can still hear the chocolate-billed toucan behind me. There he is. And we are here, and I'll show you exactly what we have. So there's the trail we came down. It's behind me. You saw that as I went through it quickly. You can see we're going to look up. You can see that there's trees completely all around here. They are very large and tall trees. I'm going to give you an idea of how big they are. I'm going to come over to this one right here. You see it right here behind me. We'll see how big that is. Here I go. There are no snakes. Always got to check for snakes. And I'll stand by this tree and give you an idea then how big it is. Okay, so here I am It's about as a little bit wider than me. We're going to go all the way up. And it goes way up there. This particular tree, I would say, probably is about, maybe 80 to 100 feet tall. You can see down here at the base, I'll give you a concept of how big the trunk is. There's maybe 1 hand, 2 hands, 3 hands, 4. So it's a big tree. This is where our water starts. All right. And down here is the Toma, which is a dam. Up in this direction, it gets kind of dark here, but if you'll see here, moving along here, a bunch of rocks. I'll get a little closer so you can see them. This is actually the source of our water. It comes down through these rocks, and if you look, they go on up here. There's certainly more of the jungle there. You see those big rocks back there and all those trees, and it's running actually down a waterway here. I'll show you, see it right here. It's actually running right there, okay? And it comes down through a waterway, and there's a spring way at the top, way up in that direction. You can see the stream comes down this way, and that's where it comes. So it filters all the way down here, and then here is a little concrete dam made out of cinder blocks that actually has our water. Now this is the dry season, so normally this would be full. But as you can see right now, it's low. In fact, right here's our water outlet. And it's actually only in the top half of that. And you'll actually see, if you look, you'll see some bugs swimming around down in there. But this is actually spring water. This is what you guys buy in the bottle for crazy, ridiculous prices. And you'll see right here's a pipe coming out of that. And it comes over to this way. And it goes down. Now you see there's a second pipe down there lower that in the dry season, it comes into the, here lower, you can see the white part sticking out right there. Here's the current pipe that we're using, and there's the other pipe. I'll have to connect to that pretty soon because it's lower. And there goes the water line. You can see it going down. And here, going down in that direction, right there, you can see the actual beginning of the waterway. If you go all the way down there, you'll see my pipe laying a long ways along it. So this pipe runs out of this Toma, which gathers the water for us, and it runs down that pipe. And I'll show you where we go. Here's the base of that big tree. I'll swing to my left. There's the Toma with the pipe. Coming back by the big tree I was standing by. We'll get back on the trail that you saw in fast motion. Right up that hill right there is where I came from. Then we're going to go down this way. So I'm going to take the Y, go to derecha, the right side. We'll come along this ridge. And you can see down here, in just a little bit, gotta be careful here, downhill very quickly, my water tank. Okay, so this is good news. I see that my water tank is full. Good stuff for me, because full water tank is good, especially in the dry season. Look at this leaf that's falling right here. It is about 8 feet long. Okay, so there's the water line. You see it right down there, that big pipe down there. It runs along that waterway. It follows that along. You see it right here, and it is connected to my tank. And look at that. My tank is actually full today. That is because I had to turn the water off to our house to fix a water repair line. And if we open this up, there's my water. It's full. It's great. There's actually a pipe coming out of the top here. I'll show you what that is for in a little bit. That's the overflow. So when it gets full, it runs down that pipe. And you can see, lucky me, even in the dry season, I have a little bit of water. Okay, so this is good stuff. Dry season, full tank. Always good news here on Palo, Alto, Finca. Coming down here. Here's my shut-off valve I turned off earlier. I'm going to need to turn that on to get water to my house. Yay. We have water. All right, so there's the overflow, this white line, this dirty line that you see here is the water to our house. So it comes out of that spring up there, builds up in that dam, and then flows into my tank, which now that I turned the water on is no longer overflowing. Okay, so we come down here. This big tree you see here fell right out of there, right on top of my water line, and that caused it to break right down here. And you can see that I glued it. There it is. This is good news. I hear some hissing, which is bad news. So that means that my seal didn't entirely work. But this is okay, because I'm going to cut a section of this out from about here to here and do a more permanent repair. I just don't have the parts I need. You hear that? That's the air coming out. Earlier today, I had water spraying all the way here. You can see all the wet part there that runs back down into the creek, and I had to fix that. So that is very important, especially in the dry season. It goes on down here. There is the other water line that is hooked to the top of my tank. You can see it going there. We come on down here. There's the dog who has followed me up. Here is another tree that has fallen. And there you can see it hit my water line, break number 2. Fortunately for me, that was not that big of a deal. And so we're going to hop over this one. Look at this big tree that's fallen. These are the sort of things that you just hate to have happen on your water line. It fell all the way down here, fell that way, and took out a big chunk of the jungle. Let me step over it and under this. There's the tree, and here we come. There's my water line going right there. You can see it. And there is the other water line coming off the top of my tank. And if we come down here, we will see the mystery of what's been connected to it. And there is the natural waterway that we're getting our water from at the top. It comes all the way down here. It's pretty much a spring all the way down. Now, when it rains down here in the wet season, this turns into a river. But right now, it is just a little tiny stream. Coming up here, here is my water line. I can turn on this valve to check and make sure that I truly do have water, and we'll see. There's the valve. This way. There it is. Ooh, that how dirty it was when it first started? That's unfortunately the way it is. Okay, we've got water here. Good news for me. Here's that other water line, okay? It comes into here. It connects up to yet another tank. So these tanks actually contain the water for the people that live here. This is my vecina, the neighbor, Senor Eduardo. This is his place. So when my tank fills up, I fill his tank up. And then you see he's got water that comes down there and goes all the way down the mountain to his place, which is on the other side of the road from me. And here goes my water line right here. So we can go down that way, or this will take us back to that trail we were on, but I think we should come this way. We'll follow the water line. I was coming the other way. You saw in the video. I want to show you this tree to give you a big idea of how big these can be. Here you go. Look at this one. There it is. It is so big. It's going to take me a while to scan and show you just how big this tree is. Okay, here it is. I'm standing by it. With my back against it, it goes from all the way over there, past me, to all the way over there. We're going to look up it, and it goes on. I know it's difficult to see from this perspective, but it is up there. If we can do the hand things with it, oh boy, it's super huge. And that, if you can see that, is what's called a bullet ant. Great big black 1-inch ant that if it bites you is called a bullet ant because it hurts like getting hit with a bullet. That's how bad it is. So, in the jungle, we will continue our journey. Okay, we're out of the jungle. It's behind us. I'm coming down to show you actually the third waterway on the Finca. You can see these tall trees still behind me. We're back on the property. And I'm going to go to the top of this hill and show you, actually right over here to my right, where it comes out of the forest and then it goes down the Finca. And this is the permanent stream in our Finca. So while we can have other places that may actually run out of water, this one does not. This is that stream up there that the Toma was on that filled the 2 water tanks for me and my neighbor and one other neighbor actually. And this one always has a little bit of water in it. So I'm going to show you what it looks like up here from the hill. All right, comes out of the bosque right there. You can see it growing down there. It's always got a little taller stuff, a fallen tree. We'll take a little trip down the hill here. Okay, so over here, right there in front of us is another mango tree, and it looks like it's blooming. You can see the flowers on that. I'll get a little closer so you can see it. And there they are. the blooms on the mango tree, which means this, in a few months, I will actually have mangoes, and me and my family will be enjoying fresh mangoes. So we have mangoes there, right in front of us, coming down the hill. Another mango tree, there's a mango tree, there's a mango tree over there. And we'll come down here and we'll look at the water. Here it is, you can see it down here. It cuts through right here. It goes underneath this big tree. If you look down there it is. We actually have water in it. It's a beautiful stream. It comes over here. There's actually a couple of really nice pools down here. Here's one of them. Right back there. It's kind of hard to see, but we'll go to a clearer one here. And here's one of the bigger ones right here. You can see it. Kind of a little dam here. This is probably actually about 3 foot deep right here. Okay. And we'll get to one more. This is actually one of my favorites. All right, well, this is the dog. He's up here on the hill. That tree, if you look up there, you see those hanging nests that are in that tree. That is a type of bird called a oropendula. They build those swinging nests, and there's one right there. So he gets down at the bottom of that tree and actually barks at them, the poor things. But those are actually built out of the pine needles around the finca, and they go up to that palm tree up by our house, and they grab what they need to do all this weaving. And so they build all this stuff, and they hang out around down here. We probably get about 25 nests. I think last year we had about 60, so it's quite a bit. There goes one. Back and forth. They make their babies and lay their eggs in there and hatch them up. All right, here we are. This is another pool. So you can see, even though there's not a lot of water out there, it does accumulate over time. This is the same creek that actually fills up our tanks up there that we were up by. And if you look down in here, you'll probably get to see some fish. There's a pretty big one right there. A little school of them swimming by. Okay, so this is all spring water running down the mountain, perfectly clear for us. And that's where it comes. All right. So that is pretty much it. You can see that stream going on over there. It runs that way. Up at the top of that ridge, right up there, you can see our garden, which we'll talk about later, being another natural resource, and it runs off the property in that direction. Okay, let's follow the dog up here, see what he's up to. There he is at the top of the hill. And up we go to see what he's barking at. The oropendula nests are hanging up there, swinging in the wind. There they are. Blackbirds, you can see one up there. I can see him. It's kind of hard to see on the camera, but he's up there, got a yellow tail, and they go all over the place to get what they need to build those nests, raise their babies there. I wish he'd be quiet, because if he did, uh-oh, look at this. Yes, indeed, somebody has hatched. That is their egg. So, good news. Little baby oropendulas. There they are. Okay. Listen a little bit, you'll hear them. Hush, Tugger. Over there's the garden. We'll be visiting later. And in that direction, way back there, is where we started at the house. So there we are. There's the nest up behind me. You can kind of hear them here and there. That's the tour of the finca doing the water system. Oh boy, he's excited. And then I was saying about that other stream here. There it is down there. I'll let you see it over my shoulder. That's that one where we were at the bridge, the second bridge. The second waterworks that goes right there. It generally has water this time of year, but maybe in another month it won't. All right, we're going to give you a couple of other things on the way back to the house. I'll take you over here and show you. We're going to go just a little bit in this direction. One of the other natural resources we talk about is food. Okay, so the last step of our water process is this. It's a filter. And what we do is we take our water glasses, we hold them under here, and we get our clean water. I'm going to show you how this works and why it's necessary. All right, this is known as a survival water filter because you can put all kinds of water, including dirty water, from a ditch into this part of it up here. And you can see inside of there are a couple of filters. And those filters are actually what do the work. So we fill this up, And this is the top compartment here that has the water in it, and it runs through those filters through gravity and slowly drips down to this bottom part, and down here is our water. So we can have this much clean water starting down here at the bottom all the way up to here, and then we get it from here. So this is our drinking water, and this is the water we use for any time that we're not going to heat or cook or freeze something. So this is the last step, and the reason we need that is because there's still some things can be in the water, like dirt and little tiny insects and things like that actually come through the pipes. So we fill it from the sink and we dump water into here, and then this does the last step. Worst case scenario, if for any reason we didn't have water, we could use rainwater, or we could use water down there from the creek. We could just bring it up here, or we could get water from any source and it would actually go through here and be drinkable, clean water. So that's the last step to the water process.